I want you to stop whatever you are doing for just a few minutes, because what I am about to share with you is one of the most practical and immediately actionable things you will hear all week. I am talking about specific psychological signals that create instant magnetic attraction. Not next month after you hit the gym, not after you buy a new wardrobe, right now, with the face you have, the body you have, and the life you have already built. And before you tell yourself this sounds too good to be true, stay with me, because by the time we finish today, you are going to understand exactly why certain men who are not the tallest or the wealthiest or the most conventionally handsome in the room, consistently attract the attention and genuine interest of women who seem completely out of their league. It is not luck. It is not mystery. It is psychology. And it is learnable. But first, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button right now and drop a comment below telling me where in the world you are watching from. I genuinely read as many comments as I can, and I love seeing how far this community of men reaches. And if you are not subscribed yet, do that now, because every week on this channel, I share real evidence-based insights specifically for men who are serious about showing up at their best. Now, let me tell you something that most men over 35 never get told clearly enough. Your looks are only about half the game. The other half is pure psychology. Specifically, it is a set of subconscious signals that the human brain is hardwired to respond to before a single word is even spoken. These signals bypass logic entirely. They go straight to the part of the brain that makes snap judgments about status, safety, and desirability. And the men who understand how to send the right signals consistently, those are the men women describe as magnetic without being able to explain exactly why. You have seen this before. A perfectly average-looking guy is standing in conversation with a stunning woman. She is laughing. She is leaning closer. She is playing with her hair. And you are standing nearby thinking, what does he have that I do not? I will tell you exactly what he has. He has his signals calibrated correctly. And today I am going to give you the same tools. Let us start with the foundation, because everything else builds on this first one. It is called the halo effect, and it is one of the most powerful psychological shortcuts in the human brain. Here is how it works. When the brain identifies one high-value trait in a person, it automatically assumes that a whole collection of other positive traits must also be present. It is a cognitive shortcut, a way of making rapid assessments without processing every individual piece of information. And the fastest, most immediate high-value trait you can display before you say a single word is your posture. When you stand with an open chest, a level chin, and your shoulders relaxed and back, something measurable happens inside your own body. Your cortisol, the stress hormone, drops. Your testosterone levels respond positively. Your presence expands in a way that is visible to everyone around you. And the people watching, including women, their brains tag you automatically as higher status, more capable, and more grounded. I have worked with men who had women guess they were taller than they actually are simply because their posture changed. Walk into a room like you belong there. Shoulders back, spine long, chin level, not puffed up, not aggressive, just open and present. That single adjustment alone starts sending the right signals before you have done anything else. The second signal is about eye contact. And most men get this completely wrong in one of two directions. They either stare too long, which reads as intense or aggressive or desperate, or they look away too quickly, which reads as insecure or guilty. Both extremes communicate low confidence, and the subconscious picks it up immediately. Here is what actually works. The moment you make eye contact, hold it for just about 1 second, a single, calm, unhurried beat. And then, before she looks away first, give a barely there nod or the faintest hint of a smirk, and let your gaze move on naturally. That is it. What this communicates at a subconscious level is extraordinarily powerful. It says, I see you, I am not rattled by you, and I am not chasing your attention. It creates a tiny, irresistible cliffhanger in her mind. And cliffhangers, by their very nature, make people want more. The third signal is one that sounds almost too subtle to matter until you understand the biology behind it. It is your blink rate. When a person is nervous or anxious, they blink rapidly. It is an involuntary stress response, the same kind you see in prey animals that are on alert. High-value dominant mammals, including humans who feel genuinely secure in their environment, blink more slowly. It is a physiological marker of calm. So, when you are in conversation with a woman, consciously allow your eyelids to rise and fall just slightly slower than your default. You will look controlled. You will look grounded. And here is the fascinating part. Research shows that when someone projects this kind of steadiness, the other person's nervous system often begins to mirror it. Her pupils may actually widen as she subconsciously relaxes into the safety of your energy. One small adjustment, enormous unconscious impact. The fourth signal is about how fast you speak. When a man is anxious, he rushes his words. He talks quickly because somewhere in his nervous system, he is afraid of being interrupted, afraid of losing the floor, afraid that time is running out. And that rushing is audible. It changes the quality of the voice and it signals a dysregulated nervous system. The adjustment is simple but transformative. Speak 10% slower than feels natural to you. Just 10%. What happens when you do this is remarkable. Your voice takes on a deeper, richer quality. The words carry more weight because there is space around them. Women have told me directly, and I have heard this more times than I can count, that when a man speaks slowly and calmly, they trust him more and they cannot always explain why. Now you know why. A calm voice signals a regulated nervous system, and a regulated nervous system signals a man who is not running on fear. The fifth signal is one that will genuinely surprise you with how much mental energy you are currently wasting on something that is working against you. It is what psychologists call the spotlight illusion. And here's what it means. Most men are hyper-aware of their perceived flaws. The gray hair, the extra weight, the receding hairline, the lines around the eyes. You spend an enormous amount of mental energy trying to hide these things, adjusting your position, tugging at your shirt, angling your head a certain way, hoping nobody notices. And here's the hard truth. Nobody is studying your flaws the way you are. Nobody. But here's the real damage that self-consciousness causes. Every time you tug at your shirt, every time you instinctively hide something about yourself, every time you physically try to correct your appearance mid-interaction, you broadcast insecurity at a frequency everyone around you picks up on immediately. The moment you stop managing your appearance and simply own it, something almost paradoxical happens. The things you were trying to hide become nearly invisible. I worked with a man in his early 50s who was deeply self-conscious about his gray hair. The moment he stopped hiding it and started carrying it as part of who he was, the feedback he received shifted completely. People stopped seeing old. They started seeing distinguished. Nothing changed physically. Everything changed energetically. The sixth signal is one of the most underestimated tools available to any man, and it is completely free and requires zero effort to deploy. It is silence. Most men believe they need to fill every gap in conversation. They think a pause means the interaction is dying and their instinct is to rush in with more words, more explanations, more stories, more performance. And the more they perform, the less powerful they become. Here is what confident men understand that most men never figure out. Silence is only awkward when you are nervous. When you are grounded, silence is not a void. It is a presence. It creates tension. And tension, when it comes from a place of calm rather than anxiety, creates attraction. Try this the next time you say something meaningful in a conversation. Stop. Do not add anything extra. Do not soften it with additional words. Do not rush to fill the space. Let what you said land. Let her sit with it for a moment. You will be genuinely surprised how often she leans in more, smiles, or starts talking faster to close the distance. Emotional control is one of the most attractive traits a man can display. And nothing communicates emotional control more clearly than the ability to sit comfortably in silence. The seventh signal is about how you move. And this is something most men never think about consciously. When a man is anxious or feeling low status, his movements speed up. He checks his phone constantly. His eyes move around the room while someone is talking to him. He drops into chairs like he is collapsing. He reaches for things quickly and jerkily. All of this movement says one thing at a subconscious level. It says this man does not feel like he has time. And the people who do not have time are the people at the bottom of the social hierarchy, the ones who are always rushing, always chasing, always slightly behind. The people with genuine status move differently. They move slowly because they are not in a hurry. When you slow your physical movements by even a small amount, when you lower yourself into a chair with calm deliberateness, when you turn your head smoothly, when you reach for your drink without a trace of urgency, you communicate something powerful without saying a word. You communicate that you are a man who has time, that you are not chasing anything, that you are already exactly where you want to be. The eighth signal is about your vocal tone and specifically about a habit that undermines confidence in ways most men do not even realize. It is the habit of ending statements like questions. When a man is seeking approval, his sentences tend to rise at the end even when they are not questions. It sounds like he is asking for permission, checking whether what he said was acceptable, waiting for someone to confirm that it was okay. Compare these two versions of the same sentence. The first one, said with a rising tone at the end, sounds uncertain. The second one, said with a level and calm finality, sounds like a decision. One sounds like a boy looking for approval. The other sounds like a man who has already made up his mind. Practice speaking in declarative statements. Not aggressively. Not coldly. Just with the quiet certainty of someone who knows what he thinks and does not need it validated. The ninth signal is your smile. And there are two common mistakes men make with this that both work against them. Some men smile constantly and broadly, trying to seem likable and approachable. But too much smiling reads as try hard, as someone who is working to win approval. On the other extreme, some men suppress their smile entirely, going for what they think looks cool or stoic. But no warmth at all reads as cold or untrustworthy, and women will not lean into energy that does not feel emotionally safe. What works is what researchers call the Duchenne smile, sometimes described as the eyes smiling before the mouth does. Keep your expression relaxed and neutral, but let the corners of your eyes crinkle naturally when something genuinely amuses you. It looks warm without looking desperate. It looks confident without looking closed off. It communicates, I am relaxed, I am comfortable, and I am not trying to prove anything. And that combination, warmth and groundedness together, is extraordinarily attractive. The 10th signal is about space. And this one is bigger than most men realize. High confidence, high status people naturally take up space. They let their arms rest comfortably rather than keeping them pressed to their sides. Their feet sit at shoulder width rather than pressed together. Their shoulders stay open rather than curling inward. Low confidence people do the opposite. They shrink. They pull their elbows in. They cross their arms. They fold their legs tightly. They physically make themselves smaller, as if apologizing for taking up room. And even when this is completely unconscious, even when a man has no idea he is doing it, the subconscious minds of everyone around him reads it instantly. Take up 10% more space. Not in a domineering way. Not in a way that intrudes on anyone else. Just enough to signal that you belong where you are, that you are comfortable in your own body, and that you are not asking anyone's permission to exist in the room. Now let me give you 3 more that go deeper. The first is what I call the pregnant pause. When a woman asks you a question, your instinct is probably to answer immediately. But here is a more powerful approach. Wait half a beat. Hold her gaze for just a moment. Then respond. That tiny pocket of deliberate silence before your answer does something remarkable. It shows that you are not rattled. You are not rushing. You have no anxiety about the tension of the moment. And that communicates emotional maturity more clearly than almost anything else you could do. The second is your physical positioning in conversation. Rather than squaring up to face someone directly, which can feel confrontational and intense, angle your body very slightly to the side. Feet and hips open but not fully frontal. This creates what body language researchers describe as an open triangle. You are engaged. You are present. But you are also giving the other person psychological breathing room. You are not boxing her in. You are not projecting need or intensity. And paradoxically, giving people space makes them want to move closer to fill it. The third is emotional mirroring. Human beings are biologically wired to feel comfortable with people who feel familiar. When someone matches our emotional state, our brain interprets that as understanding, as safety, as genuine connection. If she is telling an upbeat story, let your energy rise naturally with it. If the moment turns serious or reflective, match that calm and grounded tone. You are not copying her. You are not performing. You are simply honoring her emotional state and letting her feel genuinely understood. Within about 30 seconds of doing this well, her brain begins to make a decision. That decision is, I click with this person. Now let me bring everything together with the one truth that underlies all 10 of these signals. Because when you strip everything back, what all of these adjustments are actually doing is communicating one thing. And that thing is certainty. Not loud certainty. Not arrogant certainty. Quiet certainty. The kind of certainty that comes from a man who knows who he is. A man who is not here to chase or perform or prove anything. A man who is leading his own life with calm, deliberate intention and who is genuinely open to quality connection, but does not need it to feel complete. Women can hear compliments from 100 different men in a single week, but they might only encounter one man in an entire year who feels genuinely grounded, genuinely unshaken, genuinely present. And that man stands out with an immediacy and an intensity that has nothing to do with his appearance. His posture is a signal. His eye contact is a signal. His pace is a signal. His silence is a signal. His calm is a signal. And when all of those signals are pointing in the same direction, when they all carry the same underlying message of quiet certainty and genuine groundedness, something shifts in the dynamic entirely. She stops being someone you are trying to impress. You become someone she is trying to impress. And I want to be very clear about something before we finish. None of what I have shared with you today is about manipulation. None of it is about becoming someone you are not. Every single one of these signals is simply a tool for removing the nervous habits and anxious patterns that are currently making you look smaller than you actually are. Because most men are not unattractive. They are just tense. They are just rushed. They are just performing. And the moment you stop performing, you start pulling. Your age is not working against you. Let me say that again with full conviction. Your age is not working against you. The years you have lived, the experiences you carry, the depth you have developed, those are not liabilities. They are exactly what younger men are still years away from earning. You have stories. You have perspective. You have a kind of grounded certainty that can only come from having actually lived through something. These psychological adjustments are not about faking confidence. They are tools to help the world finally see the man you have already become on the inside. So here is your challenge starting from your very next social interaction. When you walk into a room, do not rush. Open your chest. Lift your chin. Slow your movements. Hold eye contact for one calm beat. Blink slower. Speak 10% slower. Use silence deliberately. Stop managing your appearance. Take up the space you are entitled to. And stop acting like you need to be chosen. Because when you stop needing to be chosen, the dynamic changes completely. You become the man who chooses, and women feel that from across the room before you have said a single word. If today gave you something real, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a man in your life who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below and tell me where you are watching from and which of these signals you are going to start working on first. I read every single comment and I genuinely want to know. New content drops every week, and what is coming next goes even deeper into the psychology of presence, attraction, and becoming the strongest version of yourself at every age. I will see you in the next one.